you take over. This is your committee today, so let us know what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, quick rundown of the agenda. Continue to drop your name and organization in the chat. And the Recycling and Waste Reduction Committee, we're going to be presenting. So let me get my other screen shared. But while I do that, I'm here along with Becca Serrano and Maddie Oberthauser, and we can start with some quick introductions. Unless one of you have it open really quick and want to share your screen. Oh, never mind. I got it.
It was like a race. See who can do it
Yes,
first.
got it. Okay. All right, awesome. Great. Thanks so much, everyone. So my name is Natalie Jacob. I'm the Executive Director of Green Living Science, and I am also one of the co-chairs of the Recycling and Waste Reduction Committee. So happy to be here today.
And I'm Maddie Oberthauser. I'm a recycling specialist with Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes, and Energy. I'm also one of the co-chairs of the Recycling and Waste Reduction Committee, and we're excited to have Becca here with us to join us in our presentation. Becca, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, my name is Becca Serrano. I'm the recycling coordinator for DPW Solid Waste Division. I manage the residential, commercial, and public space programs.
All right, and Becca, I think you're first. So if you want to, kick us off.
Awesome. Yeah, so we have a agenda here. Please don't mind the draft agenda language. So we'll cover quite a few topics today, including curbside recycling, commercial, public space, DPWs, grants and initiatives. We'll go into GLS outreach and education, contamination initiatives, as well as some updates from Eagle about the organic grantees, infrastructure project, infrastructure grants, and additional upcoming grants with Eagle, as well as the materials management planning updates. And we'll end with an open discussion about recycling improvements. So curbside recycling is a program that we all know very well. This program is referring to the residential service that is provided to homes with 4 units or less. So just an update about participation over the years. As many of you know, this program started in about 2014 with a pilot area that included about 19,600 homes. And today we are at just above 102,000 recycling carts. So we're very excited to have reached this milestone with the program being around for about 10 years. It's a great milestone that we are celebrating in a couple different ways. Keep your eyes out on the social media page for the city of Detroit to see a fun little reel that they'll be posting soon. So it took a lot of work to get to this point, and just wanted to take a moment to recognize all of the partners, community members, stakeholders that have put in so much work over the years to spread the word about the program, to make sure residents know that it's a free service that's available to them, and to make sure that folks are recycling only materials that are allowed to be in those carts. Next slide, please. So here's just a little graphic of some photos throughout the years, including our Be Green. What is the bee's name, Natalie? Oh my gosh, I'm blanking.
Be Green.
Be Green. Okay. Yeah, so Be Green with some of the students. We have a couple of residents here showing them taking the carts out. The top right corner is showing the original distribution from the pilot program, as well as some other photos throughout the year at the MRF, waste audits, and so much more. Next slide, please. So just want to touch a little bit on expansion for this program. So thanks to the generosity of Eagle and their infrastructure grant, we are working on getting 24,000 carts out to the streets by December 2027. We're doing that in a variety of ways, including targeted outreach through social media platforms, newsletters, a lot of feet on the street initiatives, including canvassing, community events, workshops, school assemblies, pre-K lessons, and so much more. So our goal is to be able to meet the goal set by Eagle for us to deliver 24,000 carts by the end of next year. So if you have any neighbors, family, friends that still need a cart, it's still a free program, please let them know. And we are aiming next year to double our reach using the recycling ambassadors. There have been some incentives that Green Living Science has put out this year that's really allowed the ambassadors to financially be incentivized to have more signups, whether that's going to a grocery store and setting up a table to have a larger audience, or signing up for more events in the community and being more proactive about looking for those events too, maybe during the slower months. That's been really helpful in improving our sign up rate month over month, especially with this grant in mind. We're also hoping to work with folks at DDOT, Media Services, and otherwise to promote the program in other ways. We've talked about getting some of the bus shelter ad space to promote the program, as well as highlight some common contaminants. So if there are opportunities for us to partner and collaborate on marketing for the curbside residential program, please let us know. We'd love to work with you. And we are also wrapping up our market development grant. This is a grant from 2021 where we had 4 different projects I'll touch on later. 2 of them really focusing on getting more folks equipped with recycling infrastructure. So we tried a opt-out mailer this year that I think Natalie will talk more about as well, giving folks the option to tear off a card that has prepaid postage and return that to us with their address. So trying to try different ways to get folks to sign up for cards who don't already have cards, in addition to our annual solid waste mailer. We also are wrapping up a multifamily study where we were able to bring several hundred units onto DPW's program that did not previously have recycling. So we'll touch on that more as well. Onto the commercial program. So since 2021, DPW has offered a commercial program. It serves primarily municipal buildings and also commercial buildings. So we have a variety of nonprofits, multifamily buildings. We have businesses, kind of everybody. There's museums, schools. So if you or someone you know has a physical location in the city of Detroit, this service is available to you. It is the cheapest in the city. We offer 2 bin sizes, and we are always looking for new folks to engage with. We offer education. We offer indoor containers as well, which is something that you probably will not get with a private hauler. So it's a great program. We currently serve 94 municipal buildings, looking to bump that number up just a few more. There's about 10 that we're working on getting in touch with to get them equipped with recycling infrastructure. And then we have 75 commercial customers on our route, including those multifamily buildings that were recently added. So some benefits of the program is it's single stream. So if you did not know, a lot of our private haulers will only offer cardboard recycling. So depending on the business type, especially for restaurants, it's a great advantage to consider DPW's program because you're able to recycle more than just cardboard. You can recycle plastic, glass, metal, paper, and cardboard. Like I mentioned, we have 2 container options, which can be helpful for locations that are harder to service. Our carts give that flexibility where we can pick up on the street if you don't have somewhere that's accessible with our side loading trucks. And we also have 2 new zero waste or zero emissions vehicles. Pictured below there, you can see one of them, that's their side loader. That came from a recent Eagle grant as well, and we are testing the ins and outs of those vehicles as we speak, learning how they operate, and also just really excited to have our team interact with these vehicles and get fewer or more trucks with fewer emissions on the streets for things like waste service. It is the cheapest in the city, I'll say it again. And another advantage to the program is just being able to reduce your impact and send less waste to landfill. So a little bit more about our commercial program. Pictured there is what our dumpster looks like. So if you've ever seen these around the city, that is for recycling. We also offer that size container, and it is black, and that is a trash container. So just knowing the difference there. And over time, we have grown from just 12 commercial customers when the program started in 2021 to now serving over 75 customers We have 678 multifamily units served, which is huge. Prior to this grant with Eagle, there were only about 3 buildings that were on our route for this service. And overall, in general, there are very few or multifamily buildings in the city that do offer recycling. So this is a huge win for us overall as a city, and also for folks that live in more high density housing. And then also our 94 municipal buildings are served weekly as well. That includes rec centers, fire stations, police, all of our other GSD buildings, our yards, pretty much every building other than KMAC, because that is a different property manager there. But yeah, we're very proud of the program so far, and always looking for opportunities to grow and expand that service line. Wanted to highlight some of the work that our mayoral fellow, Hannah Nassar, completed this year. This was the first time that the recycling coordinator position had a mayoral fellow. And so the project that she focused on was growing the commercial program. So she did a lot of outreach on the street. She picked some major commercial corridors to go door to door to share information about the program and encourage folks to sign up. She also did a lot of phone outreach. We did a mailer campaign and some email campaign as well. So overall, this summer, she was able to reach out to 295 businesses, nonprofits, churches, etc. And there were 607 attempts to reach these folks to share information about the program and encourage sign up. So public space recycling. So public space recycling refers to our parks, but as of recently, it also refers to our bus stops. So right now we have 27 parks on our recycling route. You can see them highlighted here on this map. We are continuing to work with CSD to try to expand this number and get more recycling in more of our parks, including our greenways. So over the years, this program has also grown significantly and was made possible with the purchase of the commercial trucks that we use for municipal and commercial buildings. So the same trucks are going out to the parks, emptying those containers. And we also work very closely with Green Living Science in all of our programs, but specifically for this one too, they are out there several times a year, checking for contamination, providing updates, and developing solutions to address some parks that do experience higher amounts of contamination. So if you ever do see one of the blue metal containers that appears to be overflowing, maybe it's damaged, something like that, please let us know so we can continue to make sure that this is a successful program. Then our bus stop pilot. So this launched in the spring of 2025, and it was a result of some funding that was allocated by Councilmember Calloway of District 2. She provided $500,000 to DPW to primarily in District 2, but citywide, offer recycling containers at bus stops. So before we were able to spend that funding in this fiscal year, we decided to deploy 42 containers throughout the city, with many of them being in District 2. And we've seen great success so far. Contamination is relatively low, around 20 to 30% in these containers. And we are kind of choosing, these locations were chosen based on proximity to convenience stores, liquor stores, gas stations, universities, schools, parks, and on some of our higher traffic bus stops that through a list that DDOT provided. So as we look to expand this program with the funding from Councilmember Calloway, we are also taking recommendations for places that you feel would be a good spot for recycling, keeping in mind that the recycling containers must be paired with the trash cans at a bus stop. And those trash cans at bus stops are also placed based on ridership. So anywhere there's a trash can is basically free game, and we are looking to deploy about 800 more throughout the next year. So definitely taking suggestions. If you have bus stops in your neighborhood that have a trash can, please let us know if you feel like it'd be a good fit for a recycling can. And I mentioned this a little bit in the previous slide, but for the bus stop pilot, we are looking to prioritize stops with high ridership that have an existing trash can. Also corridors with higher foot traffic. When you think about what you're consuming on a day-to-day basis, whether it's a bottle of water, could be a coffee cup, paper cup, anything like that, those are the types of items that we typically see in these containers, a lot of beverage containers, bottles, cans, etc. So if there are locations, again, we're definitely willing to consider that. And then working with Green Living Science and the recycling ambassadors to monitor contamination at these containers is a huge part of the success of this program. We've really only seen like mild contamination like napkins or food wrappers, chip bags, things like that. But it's primarily bottles and cans, a lot of water bottles, glass bottles from liquor stores, gas stations, etc. So we're really excited to be able to grow this program and to provide more information as we put more cans out there. As far as the parks go, we are working with GSD to also prioritize some more parks, considering we have over 300 parks. Only about 27 of those have recycling containers. Any park that has a higher level of activity programming, their trash cans have higher usage rates, parks with pavilions, playgrounds, grills, fitness areas, and sports fields are at the top of the list, and continuing to work through sourcing some funding for those containers and also just making sure it's in line with GST's plan for the parks. So grants and initiatives. So as far as some of our upcoming programming as we look ahead, we were recently out in several neighborhoods this summer monitoring contamination. Brightmoor was one of them, and they happened to be a part of the pilot area, and they were the first residents to receive recycling containers. So if you've been to that area, you'll notice that they look slightly different. So they have like a black base with a blue lid, and that was the original style that DPW was deploying at the time. Over the years, we have seen that area does experience a high level of contamination. We imagine it's due to the fact that they look very similar to the trash carts. So this year we proved that again by going to Brightmoor and taking a look, lifting the lids on those carts. And we are seeing that there are quite a few, over 50%, that are used as trash cans, or there's bag materials, or there are just a high number of items in those containers that are causing contamination for that truckload. So we are looking for funding to replace about 11,000 of those, as well as provide some community engagement, mailers, in-person events to make sure that folks know about this and to make sure that folks are receiving the education that's needed to be able to recycle correctly, regardless of what the can looks like and the colors that are on it. So that is just one of the initiatives we are in development for. Another one is our KMAC Recycling Champion Program in partnership with Office of Sustainability. So if you work at downtown at the Coleman A. Young Municipal Center, you may have a different opinion on what can be recycled. So they recently got a new hauler. Detroit Disposal is now serving that building. And there is a single stream recycling dumpster in the loading dock. So now folks at KMAC, including the public, can recycle all 5 materials: the glass, paper, plastic, metal, cardboard, as opposed to previously where paper was the only thing that was able to be recycled, and cardboard too. So we're working closely with the Office of Sustainability to be able to get the KMAC staff up to speed on the new recycling hauler rules. And we'll be having a meeting in February to kind of go over the details of that. Very low commitment. We're really just looking for people in each of the suites, each of the floors, to be the eyes and ears of the floor, to make sure that if there are issues that we're made aware of those, and we can work together to make sure that folks have the education they need to be able to be using the service properly. And then we also have a Michigan Healthy Climate Corps member joining the Office of Sustainability that I thought was worth mentioning here. So their projects will be primarily focused on waste diversion, among other things within the Office of Sustainability. So if you're interested in connecting with that fellow, have some ideas and want to partner, feel free to reach out to us. And then special event coordination is something that's more ongoing, but we are hoping to have a bigger push this year in coordinating with the event organizers of the city, large and small, to just make sure folks are aware of waste diversion programs like food rescue, recycling opportunities, composting opportunities, and overall waste reduction. When you think of a large event in the city, there are several that do offer recycling. There are a few that offer composting. We're hoping to increase that number and just be able to have folks have that practice in their daily life. When you go out and about at the parks, when you're at the bus stops, when you're at home, you're at work, we want to make sure that recycling is accessible in all levels of daily life. DPW grants. So I mentioned this previously too, but just touching on this again. So 2021, we received some funding from Eagle as well as ZTE to purchase two all electric refuse collection trucks. So we have a rear loader that is serving our bus stops and parks containers. And that is zero emissions vehicle. We charge it up at night, send it out during the day to collect those contents. And we have a side loader as well, which is on our commercial recycling route. So we're really excited to be able to be one of the first cities in Michigan to test out this equipment. And so far it's been going well. No issues, major issues to report. And we are really excited to see how these perform in the winter, considering the battery. I know that there are some concerns there, but overall they seem to be doing well, and we're excited to hopefully continue to grow that program and replace more of our fleet with electric options. And then 2024, I mentioned the Eagle Infrastructure Grant, working to deploy 24,000 carts. I think we're somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000 from April to now. And those numbers are a month or two old, just how the delay in reporting and all that goes. So yeah, any opportunities to collaborate and spread the word about this program are definitely appreciated. We're really excited about this grant and hoping to meet this goal within the timeline. So yeah, if you know anyone, again, let them know. They can get a free cart. And then the final grant I'll touch on is the Market Development Grant. We are working on wrapping up these reports, and we'd love to share them with this group once they're finished. Just very quickly, the Circular Economy Project was one of the major components of this grant, assessing the circular economy in the city of Detroit and kind of what materials are coming from where and how can we divert those and give them a new life. A zero waste pre-planning initiative wrapped up earlier this year. We're still working out the kinks with that and hoping to present to leadership in the next few months, as well as a multifamily recycling pilot, which allowed us to bring over 500 new units into the fold with recycling services at their homes. And the curbside recycling pilot was mostly focused on assessing the types of engagement strategies and how successful they are versus time spent to be able to better inform our outreach plans. That's all.
All right, great, thanks. So I'm going to touch on the recycling outreach and education. Green Living Science has been working on this for the whole decade that we've had this program. But beyond that, since 2011, when we were founded, have been providing recycling education to all Detroiters. So these are just a few pictures showing the engagement that we do, whether it's at a resource fair, an event, or if we're doing door-to-door canvassing. In this particular, this is with our Student Recycling Ambassador program. By the numbers, and this is based on the GLS fiscal year, just because those numbers were readily available, we last year reached 13,000 students with assembly. So our assembly program, we go to schools, we present information about how to recycle, the importance of recycling for our community, and we bring out our lovely friend Be Green. We also provide pre-K lessons to students. We feel that pre-K is a great opportunity for us to plant the seed at a very young age about the importance of recycling, but also litter prevention as well. We have about 24 recycling ambassadors who we deploy to events throughout the city. So they go to block clubs, community events, you name it, grocery stores, food distribution centers, things like that are what we're focusing on right now. So if you know, a few of you are here today, but if you know of anyone who's already very dedicated to this mission and looking to get involved and also paid, they can reach out to us and we can certainly talk to them about that. And just again, for this fiscal year, have added 495 units to starting service with the recycling commercial program that DPW offers. And we provided recycling workplace training to 358 City of Detroit employees. Some of our engagement strategies, we work within the community, we work with youth and businesses or the workplace. So we will do community events or canvas communities where there's low density in the program. We have been, as Becca mentioned, testing out sending mailers to communities. So we found an area in District 3 where we could reach out to residents to see if they would sign up for recycling. we were able to receive about 58 of the mailers back in the mail, and even more of those called with just on the phone to sign up as well. And I don't have that number in front of me, but we saw good we saw that these efforts didn't go to waste and that we did get more people to sign up for the program. Some of the education styles with the community are, again, workshops. We can do presentations. We can just table. People can call our office and we can sign them up over the phone. And then we mail them literature. We mail them a magnet and an FAQ. And then they can reach us with any questions or concerns that they have with the program. Our youth programming, I mentioned we go into schools, we work with after school groups, we go to different community events targeted towards youth to do fun, engaging activities using reused materials. And our education styles, again, student recycling ambassadors, our high school program, where we're working on creating a green jobs pipeline. So getting students interested in sustainability and helping them figure out a path forward there. Pre-K and assemblies, which are heart and soul of what we do as an organization. And then workplace recycling engagement, we attend networking events, we'll do tabling if there's a different resource fair or employee resource fair, mailers, and then we also provide custodial staff trainings, staff workshops, and we do walkthroughs of the facilities to help identify bin placement, signage needs, and identify any other hard to recycle items that they may have, and try to make adding the recycling program to those businesses a smooth transition and make everybody feel confident in using it. Some of the current initiatives that Becca mentioned, we are working on the multifamily recycling expansion. So we've been, trying to get multifamily recycling properties on board. We've been experimenting with different education strategies, finding out what the best way to reach residents in multifamily facilities looks like. So we did tabling. We set up meetings. We also just did door drops where we worked with the property managers to see if they could distribute the information. We're now taking that information and writing a report that can hopefully help to inform what the multifamily recycling expansion could look like in the future, specifically around policy as well, which is something that our committee specifically works on. The curbside recycling opt-in strategies, we were looking at, initially we were looking at opt-out and how residents could get a bin and then determine if they didn't want to participate in the program. We had to transition in that process and instead focus on our opt-in strategies. So this includes like our canvassing, going to the community events, our ambassadors, and then our direct mail campaigns with the reply mailer. And then contamination monitoring, which is something we're really going to be focusing on in the year ahead. We conducted a feet on the street initiative and a MRF audit, which I'll speak to more of. So for the Feet on the Street campaign, we went to 4 different neighborhoods in the city, 2 on the west side, 2 on the east side, and surveyed the recycling carts, lifted the lids, and tried to see how people were doing, if they were putting the right materials in their bins. And if they weren't, we were giving them an oops tag with a friendly reminder of to keep certain things out. If they did a good job, we distributed good job tags. So we're trying to test out these 2 methods to see what's more successful. So we were able to deploy 819 of the tags. 62% of those were oops tags. And we also looked at carts at the curb. So a lot of people have carts, but not everyone puts them out every week since we've transitioned to a weekly pickup. So that's something we're keeping in mind as we continue to research and identify new strategies. So with this, future plans, we want to expand the Feet on the Street initiatives, and we're also, again, focusing on Brightmoor and how we can reduce contamination there. And so actually on Monday this week, we're going to be going back. We're going to be looking at a couple of the different streets that we went to already and looking to see if there was any improvement in their recycling habits. Here are 2 graphs that show recycling carts that were at the curb and the cart type. So you can kind of understand what Becca was referring to with the black carts with the blue lid, which seemed to be confusing for some residents. So we have about 20% of what we saw, 20% of the carts we saw have the black carts with the blue lid. And you can see here that we had about 52% of all the carts that we looked at were at the curb. So about 50% of people are recycling each week. We also recently just did a curbside materials audit. So we actually go to the recycling center, otherwise known as a MRF, and go through samples of the material to see what people are recycling, breaking it down into the different commodity types so we can get an understanding of the contamination rate and the potential diversion rate or divertibility of the materials, for lack of a better word. So here in the pictures, you can see this is what a sample looks like. It's a big pile that we collect from the truck. These are our lovely volunteers this year who came out to help us sort through it. And we set up, I believe it was 34 different categories, and we break it out into each material. So we looked at 10 different samples over the course of 2 days from 5 trucks. We had a great number of volunteers come out, so if that's something you're interested in doing, we may be doing this every other year. And what we found is that our contamination rate is about 34% if you combine total contamination with potentially divertible, which is exactly the contamination rate we saw 2 years ago when we did this in 2023. So it means that we have not got any worse, which is great. And just to show the breakdown of the materials, you can see a majority of people are recycling cardboard and paper and plastic. So we're actually seeing, we are seeing great numbers of the materials that do need to be recycled. The one thing I'll point out here is that there's about 10% of people who are putting bagged waste in their recycling. So this is those who are potentially utilizing it as trash, and residue means trash. So about 6% of loose trash thrown into these into the recycling bins. So everywhere else, we always kind of see a good number of textiles, shoes, clothes, things like that. Small number of organics and food waste. But everything else is about 65% of those materials are actually recyclable. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to Maddie.
Thanks, Natalie. We heard from Natalie and Becca about a very localized perspective, what's going on in Detroit. I'm going to show from a little bit of a broader view. So in the state of Michigan, we have our My Healthy Climate Plan that was published in April of 2022. The idea is that we're creating a pathway to 100% carbon neutrality by 2050. We have set 8 objectives to mitigate climate change impacts, spur economic development, and protect Michigan, its environment, be a leader in environmental spaces, protect our natural resources, energy independence, and also addressing environmental injustices through this healthy climate plan. And on the next slide, you'll see that in this plan, we created a goal for our recycling rate, and we created goals for food waste reduction. So in 2024, we achieved our 4th consecutive highest recycling rate of 25%. And we're hoping to get to 30% by 2029. And we think we can do that. We're on track for it. Beyond 2030, we want to hit 45% as a state. We want to be recycling 45% of our materials. And we also want to have a 50% total reduction of food loss and waste based on our 2021 baseline. So on the next slide, I just wanted to go through some quick facts. In 2024, 56,000 tons of plastic products were recycled, 71,000 tons of glass, and 329,000 tons of paper products. And that might seem like very big numbers, and I'll just give you an idea of how big it is on the next slide. It's not one, but it is the weight of 10 Mackinac bridges is what we recycled in 2024. And right now we're collecting our 2025 data. And so on the next slide, we've got our economic impacts of the recycling industry. 72,000 jobs and over $17 billion to Michigan's economy. And so we know that recycling is making a huge difference. And that's why Eagle is investing in it and ensuring that it continues to grow. And the next slide here, sorry, I'm moving really quick because we're running out of time. We've got some grant opportunities. We've got our recycling infrastructure grant, which is now open. If you are thinking about applying for a recycling infrastructure grant, please reach out to me. Read the RFP. Let me know what you're thinking. I'm more than happy to talk about what an application might look like, who's eligible. and what types of infrastructure this can fund. This is a public sector grant, and we look to fund permanent recycling infrastructure that expands the amount that's collected, the sector it's collected from, collection, processing capacity, all those things. All of our grants are typically reimbursement and require a 20% match. We do have a circular economy grant that will be coming soon. This grant usually will fund a lot more different types of activities than our infrastructure grants. So if you have kind of a new creative idea that's related to circular economy, this might be the grant for you. It should be opening up soon. I don't have an exact date, but keep an eye out for it. And then on the bottom there, you'll see our food waste grants. So we have a recovery grant and a composting grant. Again, we don't have all of the details there. Hopefully they'll be coming out in the next couple of months, but if that's your sector, if that's your area and that's your jam, reach out to me. I can connect you to the right people to learn a little bit more about what our food waste grants look like. And the next slide, I'm going to talk a little bit about which grants we have that are existing to give you an idea of what's going on, talk about some of the impacts. So we have our recycling infrastructure grant with the city of Detroit. We also have our market development grant with Detroit that's been mentioned by Becca and Natalie. We've recently wrapped up a grant with Recycle Here, which is a film plastic compactor. So you can drop off your film plastics there. We have a grant with WM for their new MRF for some processing equipment for polypropylene and glass. And then we have a grant with Goodwill Greenworks of Detroit to expand the types of appliances that they're accepting and the number of drop-offs that they have for these appliances. And then one other thing that I forgot to put on that slide is that we have a grant with the Downtown Development Partnership for some events recycling. So that one is ongoing, and I apologize to Downtown Development Authority for not including that here. We have several circular economy grants in Detroit as well. So Architectural Salvage Warehouse, we're funding some of their equipment, staff training, and promoting of their community uplift program. Like I said, our circular economy grants typically have a much larger range of what is an eligible expense. We are funding the chip bag project, or chipping in, for some equipment and collection kiosks to collect and recycle chip bags into warming kits for people experiencing houselessness. Metro Food Rescue is a really great food rescue organization located in Metro Detroit. And we are funding part of the work that they're doing at the Detroit Produce Terminal to rescue and distribute food. And then there's more on the next slide, I believe. Goodwill Greenworks has some workforce training for their appliance recycling under circular economy, and Next Energy has received a circular economy grant to do some research and field testing on autonomous robotic collection of recycling process for commercial organic waste. And that's happening in Midtown, which it's very cool, very exciting program. We do also have an organics grant that I'm working with a few different organizations in Detroit. Sanctuary Farms is expanding their compost operations and developing a residential drop-off on site. The Detroit Black Community Food Sovereignty Network is developing community composting sites on 12 different urban farms across the city, and they have a public drop-off at the Detroit People's Food Co-op. So look into that if you are looking for composting opportunities. Scrap Soils is also expanding commercial compost collection and processing capacity on site. And so for all of these grants, well, at least most of them, I'm the grant manager for anything that's in my region. So feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions about grants, if you want to be connected with any of these grantees. And if you're looking for more connections in the circular economy space, Next Cycle Michigan is a really, really cool accelerator and incubator program. We did a gap analysis to see where in Michigan we have gaps in our recycling systems. So we looked at collection, processing, and end markets and supply chains to figure out what types of things need to be focused on and where can we contribute the most for our recycling system. We have 4 different accelerator tracks. So on the next slide, we have intergovernmental initiatives and public-private partnerships, or I2P3, which is our public-led solutions track. City of Detroit actually just participated in that one and had their showcase. They did an amazing job, and they were looking into their composting and food waste collection programs. Recycling supply chain solutions is another track. We also have an organics material solutions called Flows, and then we have a recycling innovation and technology solutions track as well. And at the bottom there, you'll see that there are just some stats on how much money we're seeing invested in the space because of Next Cycle, and how many people who have participated. There's been a really great buy-in from Detroit so far. We've had a lot of Detroit teams, and they've all done phenomenal. On the next slide, we do currently have an innovation challenge in partnership with DTE Energy. So we are looking at two specific gaps that we found in our supply chain, two $9,000 prizes for teams that develop practical and scalable ways to recycle, upcycle, or reuse wood chips or wind turbine blades. So this is a specific innovation challenge. You can apply online. Applications close November 30th. So if you're interested in this, and you want to apply, you need more information, feel free to reach out to me, and we can talk about that. And then the next slide is just a little bit of an overview of what Next Cycle really is and what we do. We provide a lot of resources and information. We give you a group of coaches and advisory committees that help you with whatever it is that you need in your business or your organization to take the next step. It starts with an accelerator camp, and it ends with a pitch session. And then throughout the process, from boot camp to pitching, we start to develop what your pitch is. We talk about what you need to get to the next step. We help fill in some of those gaps. And then at the end of the day, we love to see these projects being implemented, supported through partnerships, awards, and grants, and things of that nature. And then what does Next Cycle success really look like for us? Well, we want to see a positive impact to our communities. We really want to see these teams filling in the gaps in our circular economy, attracting talent and investment. We want to increase access, infrastructure, and end markets in the circular economy, and just make sure that it is robust and it is strong and continues to contribute to both environmentally and economically benefiting Michigan. So I'm going to switch gears a little bit. We also have materials management planning happening right now. And if you haven't heard about this yet, I might be a little bit shocked because I talk about it way too often. But at the state, we are looking to shift our mindsets from waste management to materials management. We have our materials management hierarchy here. It's similar to reduce, reuse, recycle, which is something I think we might all know. But really, back in 2022, Part 115 legislation, this is the next slide, sorry. Part 115 legislation was passed, which changes what the state requires of counties. So previously, counties were required to create a solid waste plan. And this is a picture of Wayne County's solid waste management plan that they updated in 2001 last. These solid waste plans really we just had to make sure that we had enough landfill capacity. We had to make sure that we had enough place to put our waste. Now we're shifting the focus. We want to see sustainable resource recovery or materials management. And so on the next slide, there's a little bit of an overview of what this looks like and what an MMP or materials management planning process should look like. And there's 4 steps that we see. The first one is figuring out where you are. What's your baseline? Where are your deficiencies? Where are your strengths? And then from there, you create goals. You figure out where you want to be as a county. Now, this happens at a county level, remember. So what are these goals that you can put in place to fix these deficiencies and build on your strengths? From there, the plan is required to have an implementation strategy right in it. How can you get there? What do you need to do to achieve your set goals? And in the state law, it provides $60,000 for every single county every single year. So this is a mandate for counties to go through this planning process, but it is not unfunded. There are funds for implementation, and then for the first 3 years when we're actually planning, there's additional funds on top of that $60,000 based on your population size. And so Wayne County and every single county in the state has dollars that are already written into our law that they will receive this money to implement materials management plans and to create them. And that's step 4, right? Move materials management forward, achieve goals, create success. Let's, do something better with our materials here. And so what is really in a materials management plan? On the next slide, there's 4 major areas of what is in the plan. This is a picture here of our plan format that we've published online, which is kind of just bare bones, the information that must be in the plan. We're seeing that the counties are really excited about it and really going above and beyond, which is what we want to see. So I'm not going to read this whole list to you. Something that is maybe very important to recognize in this list is the materials management goals section, where we're asking counties to identify their recycling and diversion rates. We're asking them to look at every municipality and seeing if they have a benchmark of access to curbside recycling and drop-off recycling. There are requirements in there. And we want them to have an implementation strategy for how they're going to achieve the benchmarks and achieve the goals that they set for themselves. Something else that's important on this list is the mechanisms, how you're going to be funding it and how you're going to be enforcing it. What does the siting of facilities look like? That's really the meat and potatoes of the materials management plan. And then on the next slide, we have our materials management planning committee. And so the law states that voting members of the committee should be this list of individuals. There should be representatives from each of these sectors. But materials management planning committees are open to the public. And Wayne County even has several work groups you can join. I believe that earlier this week they had a compost and food waste work group. These are meetings that are open to the public. There's always public comment. There is the ability for you to express your point of view, what you think the county should be prioritizing. And, again, it's any county, it's not just Wayne County, but on the next slide, I show their materials management planning website. This is where they post their notice of public meeting. They have to, by law, post these online, I believe 10 days before the meeting happens. They have to have a public notice. And so you can go on this website, you can check it out. But I also know that there are several people that are involved in the Green Task Force that are on the committee. And so if you are really energized about it, you're really excited about it, let us know. We want you to be heard and we want you to share your voice when it comes to materials management planning. And I'm almost done here. I'm almost out of breath. These are some planning resources. You can go to michigan.gov/EagleMMP. If you have questions, you can email us or you can email or call your planning agency, which is the county typically. We do have, our grant application is open online. You can read the law online. We have frequently asked questions. There's a planning quick guide, which is admittedly like 26 pages long. So it's really not that quick, but there's a lot of really good information in there. We've got a toolbox online, which has tons of valuable resources, whether or not you're planning. This is just a wealth of information. And I always encourage people to sign up for our listserv, which is the michigan.gov/Eagle Connect. You would want to check the box for materials management news and info, materials management planning, and Eagle grants and loans. And that's how you'll find out about when we're posting our grants and our RFPs. And so my final closing slides, again, my name is Maddie. I'm the recycling specialist for the state. We can help you out with anything that you need, from program implementation to informational presentations for recycling contamination concerns. We are more than happy to help. The next slide shows my contact information in my region. I cover SEMCOG. So if you live somewhere outside of that gray region down in Southeast Michigan, these are your other recycling contacts. And then we do, on the next slide, have statewide specialists for specific topic areas. So we have a planning specialist, Christina, who knows so much more than me about planning. We have food waste and compost specialists, if that's your space and that's your jam and you want to talk about food waste. We've got an e-waste specialist, and we even have a market development specialist who's been with Eagle for 20 plus years. And so that's our team. That's who we are. And I think I need to wrap it up now because we're losing time. So should I pass it back to Natalie, maybe?
We're way over time. So if there's any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat or raise your hands. We're happy to answer them. But Kerwin, I think we need to move on to committee updates.
Yeah. Thank you for the presentation. A lot of good information, and appreciate everything that everyone is doing. So we can go with the updates, and then after the updates, if people have questions, we could maybe double back. So the first committee would be, I guess, let me just say waters. Is Irma, are you here?
I'm here. Hi,
Hey,
everyone. That was great presentation. Thank you for that. I'm the chair, Irma Leapart, chair of the Water Committee, Water and Green Infrastructure. And we have completed our meetings for this year. We'll be meeting in January, on Tuesday, January 20th at 1 o'clock. We typically meet the third Tuesday of the month. I am in the process of creating kind of the schedule and some governance documents for the committee, some suggestions to be considered for how we're going to operate going forward and into 2026. So I'm looking forward to that and looking forward to seeing as many of you that are interested at our meeting in January. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next, we will have transportation and mobility. Todd?
Thank you. Yeah, sorry, I'm fighting a cold, but we canceled our meeting for November, so our next meeting is going to be January, and we're gonna have Carter Lavin, who wrote the book "If You Want to Win, You've Got to Fight: A Guide to Effective Transportation Advocacy." And then one other update too, we did have a meeting with DPW and Council Member Letitia Johnson's staff on the Complete Streets Ordinance. And the feedback we got was that the current ordinance is too cumbersome. So we're looking at ways to make it less cumbersome and hopefully be able to move forward on that.
Okay, if you need some help, let us know. Next, we have renewable energy. Do we have any of the Dianes here?
Yes,
don't.
I'm here.
Oh,
I
yeah.
just had to undo everything. Hi, everybody.
Hey, hey.
Hey, we are off until January, but we have our first speaker scheduled for January, but it's not going to be on the second Thursday. It's going to be on the third Thursday, or fourth Thursday in January on. So we will keep you posted on that, but it is Alessandra Cameron, January 22nd, who Maddie knows very well and others because she's now the director of the My Healthy Climate, I believe. Is that right, Maddie? Yeah, she was one of the 3 public commissioners for the state of Michigan appointed by Governor Whitmer. But now she has jumped over to Eagle. And so we're looking for a conversation about where does renewable energy fit in with the My Healthy Climate, and also to talk a bit about the loss of the historic or of the investment tax credits for solar and what does that mean to the solar industry under the Trump administration. So it should be a good meeting. If you are interested, we will be sending out to everybody this time the link because it will be on a different date, the fourth Thursday instead of the second Thursday, which I think is the 22nd of January because January 1st is on a Thursday. Okay.
I think you've heard us talk enough. We are not meeting in December. We don't have a meeting in November because we were focusing on this. But we will be reconvening in January. The fourth Monday of the month or the last Monday of the month at 3 p.m. January 26th. 2 p.m. Sorry.
Good deal. Next, we have organic. Michelle, are you here?
I am. I'll pop back in. Thank you.
Oh, hey, Michelle.
But I did pop back in. We are actually having our last meeting December 15th. So that'll be our last one for the year. We will have the Office of Sustainability coming in to give us a deeper dive on those pilots that are going on that Maddie just mentioned. So they'll be giving a deeper dive. We do right now have a course going on, the Master Composter certification, where folks can actually come. They do 12 hours of classroom time, 10 hours volunteer at one of our local compost sites, and they can get certification in the city of Detroit. So this is the first one. There will be 2 more next year. Thinking the next one to actually start in March 2025, and then 2026, and Deborah will also be doing one. Deborah Stewart Anderson from Zero Waste Detroit. So it will be an opportunity for folks to actually take advantage of the certification for free over the next year. So we've received some funding so that folks can actually take it for free and get their certification. And we do, again, supporting the urban ags. Just still, we have about maybe 10 urban farms in the city of Detroit, east and west, that's looking for some assistance coming next year. So if folks are willing to give some time, I think starting in late March to help get urban farms up and at it in the summertime, in the spring, that would be nice. You can also drop a line to Michelle.Jackson at Smallville Farms or do our Green Task Force. Can they leave something on the Green Task Force website?
Yeah,
Our site?
I
Think
believe
you,
so.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I believe so too. So if you're interested in any of those things that I just mentioned, volunteering next year with the urban ags, the urban farms in the city of Detroit, or even the master composter certification, um, by all means, just drop a line and we will direct you to uh, the right folks. And so, yeah, just really trying to move compost right now in the city of Detroit, looking for some other drop off, working with Metro Store, Sustainable Community Farms. It is kind of cold, but we will be starting a drop off site in mid January. So people look out for that. And yeah, that's about it. Folks are still composting, collecting. Um, Keeping waste out of the landfills. And so Maddie mentioned about, or not Maddie, but Rebecca from Recycle the events. We are actually looking to do more with the events next year. So in Wayne State's area, working with some of the students and folks over there by the cast on Cass Street. So yeah, hopefully next year you guys just stay. We are hopeful that compost is moving through the city of Detroit, and together we are keeping things out of the landfill, and we'll hit that 2030 waste reduction goal as we speak. So keep doing what you're doing and let's do it. That's all I have.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Michelle. Um, the next one, I believe, is renewable energy.
No, energy efficiency.
Oh, energy efficiency. Is anyone here?
Yeah. Hey
Hey,
everybody.
Kendall.
I think Julia's on the line too. We got to update this slide. Julia,
Oh, she's on here. She's on the slide.
I just did
oh.
really quick.
Oh,
Thanks,
Natalie just took
Natalie.
it down and corrected
Yeah.
it. Good job,
I
Natalie.
was like, there's a lot of mistakes on here.
And we'll update my email address too. Yeah. We'll get this updated. I think Julia's on the line too. Julia's the new committee chair for the energy waste reduction along with myself. And we just started to reconvene this committee after a little bit of a break. So we're excited to get started again. We met in October. We have we just had a meeting this week and we have set our meeting schedule for the next year. So we're going to be meeting once a month on Tuesdays at Tech Town. The meetings will be hybrid, but we're really encouraging in person. And Julia put a link in the chat to register for our December 9th meeting. And I'm going to put a link in the chat to the Green Task Force website that also lists all of our meeting dates for the coming year. So feel free to reach out to us and join one of the meetings. Thank you.
All right. And the next one is Climate Action Committee. We want to welcome Donnell. I think she's still on back. And also would like to welcome Joel Harande Harris to as a new chairperson of our committee. So just want to say thank you for taking on the task and welcome. And do we have a report?
Yeah, hey, I don't know if Donnell's still on, but I know Joel was on for a bit, dropped off. I put in the chat that we have a meeting scheduled in January. So I think it's January 27th at 2. We don't have a speaker yet for that, but it's in the chat. I do have a new email address, and so I put that in there as well. So if you're interested in joining, that's where I think the invite will come out of, but we're still coordinating that.
Thanks, Kristen. Thank you for welcoming me back, you guys. I'm glad to be back. I don't have anything to add. I'm looking forward to getting started again with this important work. By the way, this is Donnell.
Good deal. Thank you. Thank you. All righty. Well, that's it. Thank you so much. It was a great meeting. Great, lot of good information. And it's great to have subject matter experts here with us to let us know what's going on and different opportunities that's available and what the city is doing as well, doing with recycling. And I just feel so proud when we first started that our recycling was at an all-time low, and now we're steadily gaining and getting people there. And so it's with all the hard work of everybody in this committee, along with Green Living Science, and all the everybody that chipped in to help to move us in a positive direction. I just want to say thank you, and it's an honor to be working with everyone that's here. So I also would like to say we will be having a holiday, Christmas, end of the year celebration in December. So I'm trying to confirm the date now. It will be, did confirm that it will be at Michigan State University, and we're targeting the 18th of December. So put that on your hold that on your calendar for now, and we will get more information hopefully next week to you to confirm that date. So come, we're gonna have food, we're gonna have good time. So just come and enjoy with us all of the work that we've done during the year and to celebrate the holidays and everything of that nature. So that will be, we believe, on the 18th, but I'm going to confirm that later on this week. And that's all that I have. Anybody else has any good welfare for this body? And if not, thank you so much, and hope to see you at our holiday celebration. And talk with you later. Bye.
Thanks, Carmen.
All right, bye.